Good morning, it's Farm Boy 59. Welcome back to the garden spot. This morning we're down here checking out the garden area, and we're going to find out, see what we got coming up. This morning we did have a little brief shower of rain. It didn't last very long, had a little bit of wind. But we were going to come down to the garden spot and we're going to go check it out and let's see what we got going on. So let's go do that. Well, we're down at the garden spot. Where we're going to be checking out, we're going to check out and see if we got anything coming up. What I did want to look at is see if anything was coming up in my marigolds that I planted. And I'm going to take a look at those. And it's either I got grass or some marigolds coming up there. Looks like you're maybe trying to come up. I don't think it's going to be much. We ain't had enough rain to do anything, so maybe we will. Maybe we won't. We haven't got all that figured out yet. These two rows here that I've got laid off, those are actually for my cucumbers and squash and zucchini and that type stuff. But like I said, we haven't had any rain. I have decided that until we get some rain, I don't want to put anything out. Everything is just, it's pretty rough. I mean, these potatoes have been planted now almost 3 weeks. And I have nothing. I've got a couple of hills there. I'm thinking those hills there are from potatoes that were stranded potatoes, let's say the least. That was in this ground from last year when we planted potatoes, and I had some potatoes that was left over, and you can tell actually how much, if it's rained, you can see the little pollinator tassels off of the trees that they ain't even wet the ground to get rid of them. I think this right here is probably only one of the actual potatoes that actually come up, other than maybe just a few down there. And I can tell you now, the ones that's on the outside of those rows are not the potatoes that I planted. Those are potatoes that came up from, I guess you call donors or whatever. And you can see those all along the edge. It's just really crazy. These two rows right here are actually the potatoes here. And got those planted. And this row right here is actually planted in onions. I forgot about that. Those are donor potatoes coming up in the actual onion place where I planted those. Let's get on down here and let's see what we got. Because this row was about 35 feet long. That should be probably one of the first potatoes right there. Or right along in here. Yep, that would be probably the first few potatoes right here. Let's look down here. And there we are. There's an onion. And there's another one. I might have some sprigs of onions, maybe deciding to pop through the ground. I was really concerned that I really wasn't going to get any, but it has taken its toll. There's another little bunch there. Another little bunch right there. Oh, there's a pretty good one right there. That one looks pretty decent. That one looks pretty decent, but like I said, you can see my old winter wheat. Boy, it's wanting to hang on. And you're probably wondering, well, what's that row right there? That is one row of Golden Queen corn that I decided to put in my potatoes. I had an extra row. Last year I planted 5 rows of potatoes, and you can see how wide the actual rows are. I kind of eased off and went a little bit wider than normal of the potatoes, so I wouldn't have as many, and I ended up with a little gap there. You can see there right beside the tire track. That was where another row probably would have went. But I decided to put the onions over here, right in here on this side. And then this row right here is the Golden Queen corn. And then 2 rows over there of actual potatoes. And you can see how the clouds, it's about in the mid 60s this morning after the rain shower. And the trees are nice and beautiful and green. And the hay field there in front of my mom's is really taken off. They put close to, I think, over 1,000 pounds of fertilizer in that, and it looks like I got to get the old roadway here between the gardens. Got to get that. So let's take a look at the Silver Queen. Let's see what it looks like. Uh-oh. I think we got some Silver Queen corn. I think it's looking pretty decent. I got a full 4 rows. Now, there were several that we had been talking about in the past of the Silver Queen, and I'll kind of let everybody know this was planted with a old Cole planter, C-O-L-E, Cole, which has the fertilizer distributor built into the back of it, into the backside of it. But I've got 3 of them, and I'm actually going to take those and rebuild them. And I'm going to make one solid one out of it so I can put fertilizer down and my seed down at the same time. I'm going to try to work right on. That's going to be my winter project. I'm going to put all 3 of those in the shop, try to get them painted up, make them look good. But to get back to what I was going to say, this actually is planted with a 8-cell medium large Cole planter disc. And you can see how far that is apart. And if it stays like this, I am probably going to have to get in here the first of the week and probably have to scratch this with a rolling cultivators and go ahead and put fertilizer down. I'll be honest with you, this is my first year planting without any fertilizer in the ground whatsoever. We had such a bad start off that I was really concerned that I wouldn't get any growth or anything wouldn't come up. And this has just been, you know, one of those trial and errors. And I don't know that it's actually taking longer than it normally would. You can see there. It's a good 4 rows. It's like actually surpassing the top. Let me see if I can do this. The little ridge of where the planter left, right out there, those 2 little ridges there, that's where the planter left. And the corn is actually getting ready to start surpassing that. So it does believe to me that I am going to have to go ahead and get some fertilizer on it. They are talking in our area, possible we may have some rain coming in maybe next Sunday with a little bit more potential of a little bit more heaviness to it, or a little bit more a lengthier span, higher in the upper percentage, above 50%. So we're hoping that that will work. But that's kind of where we're at the garden spot. Like I said, and I don't know if I can do this or not, but I'm going to try it. If you look right there, right beside that potato plant, you might see a little round white ball. And for some odd reason, my garden spot is actually growing golf balls. I have a neighbor who loves to play golf, and this is kind of where they get hit to, and I end up in my field. So I've got to go through and walk it and get the golf balls out before I put the rolling cultivators in it. So, with that, looks like we got a pretty good run. But I want to bring you down to the garden spot today. Just show you what we had. Now these down here is 4 rows that I had left over, and which is these 4 here. Those are going to be my squash and zucchini. I'm going to try to plant those down there on that end and try to keep this out of the shade. And I'm going to try to plant this area up here, maybe in some peas. Now, like I said, winter wheat and not knowing and how it grows, and that this here, oops, there, it's blurry now, sorry. There, let's do that. There was actually bush hogged about a week ago. Okay, and I know you can see it in the frame, but I'm going to show it to you. This right here was bush hogged at the same time, and I'm going to tell you, I scalped the fire out of it. I got it down to where it was nothing, and you can actually look down inside and see how low I'd cut it and where I would cut it off and how dead it was. And this has had no rain whatsoever, and how much it has produced and put off in less than a week. And if it keeps going, and if you look there, got a little seed tassel already in that one, and some of it's already starting to try to seed out. And I know if I don't do anything with it, I'm gonna have to go in here and cut it, or either turn it or get it on the ground, because this is, I cannot leave this like this. But if you look at some of the leaves in the very, very top, I hope you can see that. Here, let me do this. Doop. Can you see those tops of the leaves right there? See how they're cut off? Well, the reason why they're cut off is because of the lovely garden spot and all these nice prints all over are deer, and they are anywhere from, myself, I am 6'2", and those deer are anywhere from waist high to above. No, I have not put up any fence yet. I was really intending to wait to see what the garden spot put off and see how things went. So that's where we're at with that. Well, that was a little short visit down here with the garden spot this morning. And like I said, that's that winter wheat that, like I said, I cut a week ago. And you can see the tops in it where the deer's been eating it out. But we've had looks like a good success on the corn. I've got some success on onions, potatoes. I'm just not 100% sure yet of what's going to happen with those. But with that said, you know, what I might do is, you know, let's take a walk up to the potatoes one more time. I'm gonna walk back up here to the potato rows. You know, I haven't checked them. I know I've been seeing potatoes coming up, and it's kind of weird. Like I said, that I would see potatoes growing like so, and that's, like I said, that's in the onion row, and the potatoes are not down until the very lower end of that row. We're gonna step over here and we're gonna go over here and just dig back here a little bit. Well, look at here. There's a sprout. So that tells me the potatoes are still in the ground. They're still in the sprout stage. We've had so much heat. We've not had no rain to put with them. You know, I've grew potatoes, and you've seen my potatoes over the years, past 2 years at least. This first year I've run into it, and you can actually see down there where the actual winter wheat is at the very end. That's the row and a half or 3/4 of potatoes that I have planted. And I guess you see on the sides of the rows down there at the end, those are like donors, or whatever you want to call them. If somebody has any ideas of what the next project should be done, you know, leave it down in the comments. Let me know. I'm kind of at a point of not knowing right yet what to do, other than just leave them alone and hope we get some rain. And I might come back in here with the rolling cultivators and maybe, you know, this along this side here, and maybe along this side here, you know, go down, you know, this side, and, you know, on this side, and maybe put some fertilizer to them with the rolling cultivators and kind of fill that in, and maybe disturb the ground a little bit. I've been trying to hold off and not do that, to try to hold the moisture in the ground, you know, so we wouldn't lose anything. And like I said, I mean, right there you can see where the potato is trying to push through the ground. So I'm thinking that it might be close. I don't think that they're dead. It doesn't look like that they're dead. It doesn't look like that they're rotten. The field doesn't have any odor to it, like if there was rotten potatoes in the ground, which I've dealt with that last year a little bit. But I think that's what we're going to do. So like I said, if you got any comments down there, leave me a couple comments and let me know what your thoughts are and what your thinking is of what might be the next best thing to do. Well, we're going to finish up this video. We're down, like I said, we're down here at the garden spot. Everybody's seen what they've seen. Got some footage there of some corn there behind me. Golden Queen or Silver Queen, both of them look like they're doing fine. So until the next time, again, thank all subscribers for the increase over the past couple of weeks here. Things have kind of picked up, and I really do appreciate that. But again, thank y'all for following us along on the videos and the channel. And until the next time, just hang in there with us, and we'll see you on the next one. To meet us at the garden spot.